Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Grow English Mastery. My name is Scarlett, and I'm so happy you've chosen to spend some time learning English with me today. How are you doing? I hope you're having a fantastic week. Today, we are going to talk about a name that almost everyone in the world has heard, Donald Trump. Now, when you hear that name, what comes to your mind? Maybe you think of big buildings with the name Trump in gold letters. Maybe you think of the American television show The Apprentice. Or maybe you immediately think of American politics and him being the 45th President of the United States. Is a figure who is on the news all the time. People have very strong feelings about him. Some people love him, and some people really don't. But this channel is not about politics. Our goal here at Grow English Mastery is to learn English. And learning about famous and influential people is a fantastic way to improve our language skills. It helps us understand the news, join conversations, and learn a lot of useful vocabulary. So, get comfortable. Maybe grab a cup of tea or coffee and a notebook. We are going to spend the next 40 minutes together, exploring the life and language connected to this very famous public figure. Are you ready? Let's begin. First, let's talk about our goals for today's lesson. What will you be able to do after watching this video? Our main goal is to build your confidence. I want you to feel more comfortable when you hear or read about Donald Trump in English. You will not be a political expert, but you will understand the story and the language used to tell it. Specifically, we will focus on 3 things. First, we will learn the story of his life, from a businessman to a media personality, and finally, to a president. This will give us a clear timeline and context. Second, we will learn a lot of important vocabulary. We'll cover words from the world of business, media, and of course, politics. These are words you will see and hear again and again. Words like entrepreneur, real estate, campaign, and policy. We will learn what they mean and how to use them. Third, we will practice our skills. We will practice listening. I will give you tips for speaking, and we will look at some grammar, especially how to use past tenses to talk about someone's life. And of course, we will have small, interactive exercises throughout the lesson to keep you active and engaged. The reason this topic is important is because figures like Donald Trump are part of global conversations. Understanding their stories in English opens up a new world of information for you. It can be challenging because the language used in the news can be fast and complex. But today, we will break it down together, step by step. I promise to make it simple, clear, and interesting. So, let's start with the main story. Who is Donald J. Trump? We are going to create a simple biography, a story of his life, in 3 parts. The businessman, the media star, and the politician. Part 1. The businessman. Donald Trump was born in Queens, a part of New York City, in 1946. His father, Fred Trump, was a successful real estate developer. A real estate developer is someone who buys land and builds things on it, like apartment buildings or houses, to sell or rent. So, you could say that business was in his blood. From a young age, he was interested in his father's work. After he finished university, He joined his father's company. He was very ambitious. The word ambitious means having a strong desire to be successful, powerful, or famous. Repeat that word after me. Ambitious. Great. He didn't want to just stay in the parts of New York where his father worked. He wanted to go to Manhattan, the heart of New York City, the place with all the famous skyscrapers. He wanted to build big, luxurious, and famous buildings. His first big project in Manhattan was renovating a hotel. To renovate means to repair and improve a building. He turned an old hotel into the Grand Hyatt, New York. This project made him famous in the city. After that, he built his most famous building, Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue in New York City. It's a 58-story skyscraper with luxury apartments, shops, and offices. It became a symbol of his brand. A brand is the image and personality of a product or company. The Trump brand became associated with luxury, wealth, and success. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, he continued to expand his business. He bought casinos in Atlantic City, an airline company, and even a famous hotel, the Plaza Hotel in New York. He was a classic entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who starts businesses, taking on financial risks in the hope of profit. It's a great word to know. Let's say it together, entrepreneur. One more time, entrepreneur. Good job. However, his business career was not always easy. He had big successes, but he also had big failures. Some of his companies lost a lot of money, and he had to deal with bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a legal situation when a person or a company cannot pay their debts. This is a very important point. It shows that even very successful people face huge challenges. The story of his business career is a story of big wins and big losses, of taking risks and surviving difficult times. So, quick question for you. What was the name of his most famous building in New York City? That's right, Trump Tower. Excellent. Now, let's move to the second part of his public life. Part 2. The Media Star. In the 2000s, Donald Trump became famous in a new way, not just as a businessman, but as a television personality. A personality, in this context, means a famous person, especially in entertainment or media. He became the host of a reality TV show called The Apprentice. Have you ever heard of it? In the show, a group of people competed for a job in his company. Each week, he would give them a business task. At the end of the episode, he would eliminate one person from the competition by pointing his finger and saying his famous catchphrase. A catchphrase is a phrase that is well known and often used by a famous person. Do you know what his catchphrase was? It was, "You're fired." That phrase became incredibly famous all over the world. The show was a huge success. It was on television for many years and made Donald Trump a household name, which means he was famous to everyone, not just people interested in business. The Apprentice did something very important for his public image. It presented him as a very strong, decisive, and powerful boss. It reinforced his brand. People saw him every week in their living rooms, making big decisions. This experience with television was very important for his future. He learned how to connect with a large audience. He learned how to be the center of attention and how to create a simple, powerful message. Let's pause here. Think about it. A person can be successful in different fields. He moved from real estate to television. Can you think of another famous person who changed their career in a big way? Maybe an actor who became a politician, or an athlete who became a business owner. It's interesting to see how skills from one area can help in another. Okay, are you ready for the third part of his story? This is the one that changed the world. Part 3. The Politician. For many years, people wondered if Donald Trump would run for president. To run for president is the phrase we use when someone tries to get elected as the leader of a country. He talked about it a few times over the years, but in June 2015, he made it official. He announced he was running for President of the United States as a candidate for the Republican Party. His political campaign was very different from what people were used to. A campaign is the series of organized activities that people do to try to achieve something, like win an election. He held large rallies. A rally is a big public meeting to support a person or an idea. At these rallies, he spoke directly to his supporters in a very simple and direct way. He had a famous slogan. A slogan is a short and memorable phrase, used in advertising or for a political party. His slogan was, "Make America Great Again," often shortened to MAGA. This slogan was very powerful for many people. It connected with their feelings about the country's economy and future. His communication style was, and still is, a major topic of discussion. It's often described as unconventional. This means not traditional or normal. He uses simple words, repeats his points many times, and is very direct. He also started using the social media platform Twitter, now called X, in a way no politician had before. He used it to speak directly to the public, to announce policies, and to criticize his opponents. In November 2016, something happened that surprised many people around the world. Donald Trump won the election and became the 45th President of the United States. His victory was one of the biggest political surprises in modern history. His presidency, from 2017 to 2021, was full of action and was often controversial. The word controversial means causing a lot of public disagreement or argument. This is a key word when talking about him. Let's say it together. Controversial. Controversial. Perfect. During his time as president, he focused on several key policies. A policy is a set of ideas or a plan of what to do in particular situations that has been agreed to by a government or a political party. Some of his main policies were related to the economy, immigration, and trade with other countries. For example, he lowered taxes on businesses and put tariffs, which are taxes on imported goods, on products from other countries. After he left office in 2021, he remained a very important and influential figure in the Republican Party and in American politics. So that is the basic story. A successful but sometimes troubled businessman who became a famous TV star, who then used that fame to become President of the United States. It's a remarkable and unique life story, no matter what your opinion of him is. Whew! That was a lot of information. Let's take a deep breath. How are you feeling? Did you understand the main story? If you need to, you can always rewind and listen again. That is the beauty of learning with video. Now, let's dive into the most important part of our lesson, the language. We are going to review and expand on the vocabulary and grammar we encountered. This is where you will really build your English skills. Let's organize our vocabulary into the 3 parts of his life. First, vocabulary from the world of business. Real estate, we mentioned this. It's property in the form of land and buildings. For example, he made his fortune in New York real estate. Can you make a sentence with real estate? Maybe something like, my dream is to buy a piece of real estate by the sea. Try it. Entrepreneur. We practice this word. A person who starts a business. She is a successful entrepreneur who started her own tech company. Ambitious. A strong desire for success. He was a very ambitious young man. Are you an ambitious person? What are you ambitious about? 4. Brand. The image of a company or product. Nike is a very powerful global brand. The Trump brand is associated with luxury. Deal. An agreement or an arrangement, especially in business. Trump often talks about making deals. For example, we made a deal with the supplier to lower the price. He even wrote a book called The Art of the Deal. Bankruptcy. We learned this word too. When you can't pay your debts. The company filed for bankruptcy after a difficult year. To file for bankruptcy is the common phrase. Now, let's look at vocabulary from the world of media. Media personality. A person famous from TV, radio, or the internet. She became a media personality after her cooking show became popular. Reality TV. A type of television show that shows real people in different situations, not actors. I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but some shows are very entertaining. Catchphrase. A famous phrase associated with a person. We talked about, "You're fired." Can you think of any other catchphrases from movies or TV shows? Ratings. A measurement of how many people watch a TV show. High ratings are very important. The show's ratings were very high, so they made another season. 5. Celebrity. A famous person. This is a very common word. He is a famous celebrity in Hollywood. And finally, vocabulary from the world of politics. This is super useful for understanding the news. To run for president. To be a candidate. She announced she will run for president in the next election. Campaign. The organized effort to win an election. The election campaign lasted for over a year. Rally. A large public meeting of support. Thousands of people attended the political rally. Slogan. A short, memorable phrase. Their campaign slogan was, "Forward Together." Policy. A government's plan of action. The government announced a new policy on education. Inauguration. The formal ceremony where a president officially begins their term. The inauguration takes place in Washington, D.C. Controversial. causing a lot of disagreement. His decision was very controversial. Okay, that's a lot of great vocabulary. My advice is this: don't try to memorize all of them at once. Choose 3 to 5 words that are new and interesting to you. Write them down. Write your own example sentences. Try to use them this week. That is how you truly learn new words. Now let's touch on grammar. The perfect topic for a biography is practicing past tenses. Let's look at the difference between the past simple and the present perfect. We use the past simple for finished actions, in the past, at a specific time. The biography we just heard is full of it. He was born in 1946. The action is finished. He joined his father's company after university. Finished action. He won the election in 2016. A specific time in the past. We use the present perfect, have, has, plus past participle, for actions that started in the past and continue to the present, or for past actions that have a result in the present. It's about a connection to now. He has been a public figure for many decades. He started being one in the past, and he still is one now. Many books have been written about him. They were written in the past, and now they exist for us to read. The result is present. His career has had many ups and downs. This describes his career up to this point in time. Let's do a quick exercise. I will give you a sentence. You decide if it should be past simple or present perfect. Ready? Sentence 1. He host the show The Apprentice in the 2000s. Specific time in the past? Yes, in the 2000s. So, past simple. He hosted the show. Sentence 2. He be a controversial figure throughout his career. Is his career over? No. Is he still a controversial figure? Yes. So the action continues to the present. Present perfect. He has been a controversial figure. Great job. Understanding this difference will make your English sound much more natural, especially when you are telling stories or talking about people's lives. Now, let's talk about you. How can you practice this? It's time for our practice techniques section. How to take this lesson and use it to actively improve your 4 main English skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. For listening, I recommend finding short, simple video clips about Donald Trump. Don't start with a long, complicated political debate. Go to YouTube and search for something like Donald Trump the Apprentice, clip, or Trump Tower documentary simple. VOA Learning English is also an excellent resource with news stories in slower, simpler English. When you listen, don't try to understand every single word. That is too stressful. First, listen for the main idea. Then, listen again and try to catch some of the key vocabulary we learned today. Campaign, brand, deal. When you hear a word you know, it's a small victory. Celebrate it. For speaking, this is so important. You must speak. First, try the shadowing technique. Play a short clip of him speaking or of a news reporter talking about him. Pause every few seconds and repeat what you hear. Try to copy the pronunciation and the rhythm. This is fantastic for your mouth muscles. Second, find a friend or a language partner, or just talk to yourself. Ask yourself simple questions and answer them. What did I learn about Donald Trump's business career? Answer it out loud. He started in real estate. He built Trump Tower. He had successes and failures. Just saying the sentences out loud makes a huge difference. For reading, find a short, simple article about him online. Again, VOA Learning English or BBC News Round, which is for young people, but the language is very clear, are great places to start. Read the headline and the first paragraph. What is the main point? Then read the rest of the article, looking for our vocabulary words. When you find one, highlight it. This makes reading an active treasure hunt, not a passive task. For writing, practice makes perfect. Write a short paragraph. You can choose your topic. Topic 1. Summarize his career in 3 sentences. Topic 2. Write about his time on The Apprentice. What was the show about? Topic 3. Choose 3 vocabulary words from today's lesson and write 1 sentence for each. The important thing is to write something. Don't worry about it being perfect. Just write. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something. To keep you motivated, it's story time. This isn't just about Donald Trump, but about a lesson we can take from his story. The story I want to focus on is the power of a brand. We learned this word today. Think about it. Before he was a politician, Donald Trump spent decades building the Trump brand. He put his name on buildings, on water bottles, on steaks, on everything. The name itself was designed to mean luxury, success, and power. When he started his TV show, The Apprentice, he wasn't just hosting a show. He was strengthening his brand every week in front of millions of people. He was the ultimate boss, the one with all the power. Then, when he ran for president, he used that brand. He was not a typical politician. He was Trump, the famous, successful businessman from TV who was going to make a deal for America. The inspirational lesson here is not about whether you like his brand or not. The lesson is about the power of building an identity and communicating it clearly. In your own life, what is your brand? I'm not talking about business. I'm talking about you as a person. When people think of you, what words do you want them to think of? Honest, kind, hardworking, a good friend, and as an English learner, what is your brand? Are you a curious learner, a brave speaker, a careful writer? Thinking about your identity as a learner can give you a powerful sense of direction and motivation. You are not just someone learning English. You are a dedicated language explorer or a confident future English speaker. See how that changes your feeling. It gives you power. This brings me to a very important message I want to share in every lesson: the importance of a positive learning attitude. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time and patience. Learning about complex and sometimes controversial topics like this one can feel intimidating. You might feel that you don't know enough, or that your opinion is not smart enough. Please, let go of that fear. First, it's okay not to know everything. No one does. The goal of today was to understand the basic story and learn some language. You have done that. That is a success. Second, do not be afraid to make mistakes. I say this all the time because it is the most important rule. When you try to use a new word like controversial and you say it wrong, that's okay. When you try to explain his career and you mix up the past simple and present perfect, that is also okay. Mistakes are not failures. They are proof that you are trying. They are stepping stones to success. Third, be confident. You are learning a global language. You are opening your mind to new ideas and new cultures. That is an amazing thing to do. Be proud of every step you take, every new word you learn, every sentence you speak. You are building a new skill, brick by brick, just like a real estate developer builds a tower. Believe in yourself. You can do this. You are doing this right now. Before we finish, I want to give you a few extra resources if you want to explore this topic more on your own. These are tools that can help you continue your learning journey. Simple English Wikipedia. This is a wonderful resource. It's a version of Wikipedia written in basic English. You can search for Donald Trump there and find an article that is much easier to understand than the regular Wikipedia page. It's fantastic for practicing reading. Youglish. This is a website. You type in a word or a phrase, for example, run for president, and it shows you thousands of YouTube videos where that phrase is used by native speakers. It's an amazing tool for checking pronunciation and seeing how words are used in real context. VOA Learning English. I've mentioned it a few times, but it is truly one of the best resources for B1 learners. They have news, stories, and lessons specifically for English learners. Check out their website or YouTube channel. A good dictionary app. Have a learner's dictionary on your phone. Something like the Merriam-Webster Learner's Dictionary or the Oxford Learner's Dictionary. They give simple definitions and great example sentences. Using these tools can make you a more independent and effective learner. All right. We have covered so much ground today. Let's take a moment to summarize what we have learned. This is our conclusion. First, we learned the three-part story of Donald Trump's public life. His beginnings as an ambitious real estate developer in New York, his transformation into a global media star with The Apprentice, and his historic journey into politics to become the 45th U.S. president. Second, we armed ourselves with a powerful list of new vocabulary related to business, media, and politics. Words like entrepreneur, brand, campaign, policy, and controversial are now in your English toolkit. Third, we reviewed a key grammar point, the difference between the past simple and the present perfect, which is essential for telling stories about people's lives. And most importantly, we talked about how to practice these skills on your own, the importance of building your own positive brand as a learner, and the mindset you need to succeed. Be patient, be brave, and be confident. You did an amazing job today. Seriously. You spent 40 minutes actively engaging with a challenging topic in English. You should be very, very proud of yourself. This is how you grow. This is how you master English. Now, it's your turn to interact. I have a question for you. Please answer in the comments below. My question is, what was the most surprising or interesting thing you learned in today's lesson? It could be a fact about his life, a new vocabulary word, or a learning tip. I would love to read your answers. Sharing what you've learned is a great way to remember it. If you found this lesson helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and reach more learners like you. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Grow English Mastery and click the little bell icon. That way, you won't miss our next lesson together. Thank you so much for your time and your hard work today. Keep practicing, stay curious, and never forget how much progress you are making. My name is Scarlett, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Goodbye for now, and happy learning.